I was diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer, and from the PET scan, the oncologist discovered that the tumors were all over my bones, my spine, neck, my rib cage, and pelvic bones. In fact, there were so many tumors in the bones that the oncologist said that he couldn't count the number of tumors in my bones. He told me then, in March, it was incurable, and it's the final stage. In fact, the tumors has eaten up the spine, some of the vertebrae, and it has become hollow. And I was in excruciating pain. I couldn't lie down, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat with my right hand, I couldn't move. Even going to do the daily necessities in the bathroom, in the restroom was so tough, and movement was so restricted. And the oncologist told me then that he intended to do radiation on me to kill the pain first, to sustain me, and then to start chemo immediately. But then what happened was, back in December 2011, 3 months before the diagnosis, I actually heard about this conference called Kingdom Invasion in Singapore through my eldest brother John, who resides in Singapore. So I registered then in December, not knowing what will happen to me down the road. And when the PET scan report was out, it was 3 days before the conference. And I told the oncologist, I'm not going to start treatment. In fact, in 2010, I was diagnosed with bilateral breast cancer. He gave me very aggressive chemotherapy, and the whole thing came back within a year on my bones. So I told him this round, I said, I don't have the peace to do chemo somehow. I just want to go down to Singapore because I've registered myself for prayer. And he was stunned. He said, how are you going to go down to Singapore with this condition? You can hardly move. I told him, I don't know. I said, I literally don't know. I couldn't talk properly. I was breathless because I was holding on to the pain. He gave me painkiller to kill the pain. I told him this, I said, I just know that I needed to go down to Singapore. That's all. Then he said, I don't know. It has to be your own decision. I have nothing to do with it. But this is what I need to tell you, is that you don't have much time left. So I asked him, tell me, how much time do I have? He said, I can't tell you. 3 months, 6 months. Bottom line is you don't have much time left. So I told him, okay, I take responsibility over my own decision. I'm going. So somehow the flight down was a miracle. I prayed really hard. My husband prayed really hard. My brother prayed really hard. I said, I'm not sure how I'm going to fly down because bit of movement was killing. It was like all the tissues were torn in my body, and there's a sharp knife that cuts all over my body. It was that excruciating pain. So I said, God, you got to help me. You got to help me. I knew something was going to happen when I go down to the conference. I don't know Pastor Bill Johnson at all. I don't know any of the key speakers at all. I don't know anybody there. I just heard from my eldest brother, John, who resides in Singapore, that this conference is really good. And miracles happen. That's all. That's all. So I just go by faith. And God was so good. You know, when the plane landed, I was praying in tongues. I said, oh, God, help me, help me, help me. And when the plane landed, boom, 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 there was no pain. I thought I was healed. But then when the plane stopped, and I said, oh, the pain was there. But the Lord helped me when the plane landed. There was no pain. I could, go through that flight. And when I was in the conference, that's what I told the Lord. I said, God, you got to heal me. There is no other way out. Matthew 4 says, Jesus went around in the province, in the villages, and he healed all diseases. All, you said, God, all. Mine is included. I said, God, mine is included. I don't know how you're going to heal me, but I know you must heal me, and you can heal me. And I tell you, God was so good. I was walking this way in the conference, there were so many people, 8,000 to 9,000 people. My husband and my brothers, they were like bodyguards. They were like guarding me, because anyone who knocks me is like, it's killing. And I was praying. I said, God, I cannot go back to Malaysia this way, because if I'm going back this way, I'm going back for my own funeral. That's it. Wow. Because the doctor says nothing can be done anymore. And that night I was praying. Day 1, nothing happened yet. But I was still in faith, hoping. Day 2, suddenly, after Pastor Bill Johnson preached that night, somehow he said, tonight, I'm going to pray for bones. When he mentioned bones, I was excited. I said, God, it has to be my night. It has to be my night. And then Pastor Bill Johnson started to operate in word of knowledge. He started to call out, sicknesses, different kinds of bone diseases. I was paying attention. I was holding on to the pain and waiting for attention. I said, God, you have to be specific so that I know. So that I know it's me. You're going to heal me. It has to be specific. And suddenly, after one sickness after another, the Pastor Bill Johnson called out. Suddenly he said, someone here has got tumors in your bones. When I heard that, my spirit lifted up, my heart came alive. I said, God. Oh God. Amen. Amen, Jesus. Amen. I said, God, that's me. So I stood up, I lifted up my left hand. I couldn't lift up my right hand because it was so painful. But because Pastor Bill Johnson said, tumors here, I wanted him to notice me. There were like 8,000 to 9,000 people. We were like ants down there. And I wanted him to take notice. I was sitting somewhere around that corner. Yeah. Somehow, Pastor Bill, he just turned and said, I knew it's someone from here. And he spotted me. Being so little there, he spotted me. And guess what? His word was so specific. He said, the Lord wants to heal you tonight. I'm so glad for the word he wants, because Pastor Bill didn't say that night, the Lord will heal you. He said, the Lord wants to heal you tonight. That was such a powerful word, like a sword, piercing into my spirit and my soul. And I received that word that night. And that excruciating pain starts to reduce. I felt sensation all over my back. It was like electric all over my back. And that night itself, those who were healed, we were encouraged to start to do the movement that we couldn't do. So I took the step of faith to start moving my body. It was so tough to move. But that night, after prayer, I started to move. I started slowly because I was so afraid of the pain. It kills. The pain really kills. And then when I moved it, I realized that, hey, things are different now. and then I told the people around me, hold on there. Don't pray yet. I want to try my left side. And I started to move. I said, I can move. And then I said, hold on. I couldn't lift up anything. And I have a pink bag. So I said, hold on, don't pray yet. I'm going to try. And I started lifting up the bag. I can do it. I can do it half the height. And I couldn't be bothered about people sitting around me because of the pain. I don't even know who sat behind me. That night after prayer, I started to move. And I can see the Chinese girl sitting behind me. I said, great. I said, things are happening. I thought it was good. But the people around me reminded me, the speaker says that if God heals you, it has to be like, if you feel like it's 80%, then, it really works. And I desired for the 80%. And people started to pray, and I started to try it again, and I was able to lift up my hand up that night. Yeah. It was amazing. Just last week, on the 15th of December, as I do my devotion, the Lord gave me Psalm 105. He reminded me of the miracles that He has done in my life. 15th of December was exactly 9 months after healing. 9 months, exactly 9 months. I went back to see my oncologist. He was totally shocked. Initially, a week after I came back from the conference, I went to him. I said, doctor, look at me. And he said, yeah, you're on painkillers, still on painkillers, enough of, painkillers. I said, I stopped taking the painkillers for a week already. Oh! I said, Remember I told you I went for prayer and Jesus healed me. I told him that. Oh God. Amen, amen, amen. Glory to Jesus. Glory to Jesus. Glory to Jesus. Amen. 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 You know, it was stunning. It was stunning. And the doctor said, he said, somehow the pain may come back. I said, I don't think so. and then he was pretty skeptical, and somehow he said, I know where you are getting to. I have no comments about that. You know, just be aware if the pain comes back, you know, just take back. I said, okay, but I believe the pain is gone. But somehow I said, my bones were very tight. I couldn't explain. I said the bones were tight, but it wasn't the excruciating pain. Because of that, I told him I'm able to drive to the hospital myself. Because prior I couldn't drive. I couldn't do anything else already. I was like paralyzed. In fact, the doctor warned me that, you know, of getting into paralysis because of the bone. Now, thereafter, that day itself, I did a blood test. Actually, the blood marker surged. We couldn't explain. That's why the doctor was also skeptical. 2 months after that, I started to feel that the tightness starts to ease. Breathlessness starts to reduce. Yeah. And I went back to the oncologist again, my same oncologist. I said, hi, doctor. Look at me. I feel much better now. He said, really? He said, okay, we will do a blood test and see what happens. And the blood test report came out. The blood report, everything was normal. Only Jesus can do it. Yeah. The doctor was shocked. He said, did you go anywhere else for treatment? I said, no. No treatment? No treatment. Only prayer? Yes, only prayer. And he said, whoa, this is a miracle. Then he told me this story. He said, it's not that I ridicule miracle. Miracle does happen. My own grandmother, many years ago, at the age of 40, she had a disease. She went totally paralyzed from head to tail, to his toe. Somehow, she is a believer of Jesus. One of the day when she lied down on her bed, she saw a vision of Jesus. The next day, her fingers started to move. Over time, part of her body started to move, and eventually, his grandmother, the oncologist's grandmother, became normal, and she survived until the age of 42 as a normal person. And at the age of 92, and this is what the doctor told me.
92.
92. What did I say? 92. Oh, 42, I'm sorry. Age of 92. I'm getting excited about Jesus. Talking about Jesus. Wow, it's just so excited. And this is what the oncologist says. But this miracle happened many years ago. It's a long time miracle. But this is what I told my doctor. In a very respectful manner, I told the doctor, I said, doctor, do you think this report is a miracle report? Oh, yes, definitely it is. Then I told him this. Then my belief, and I believe today, that Jesus, the miracle of Jesus is still happening today. It is still valid today. Amen? Amen. Amen. And you know what? Somehow, my personal walk, you know, many people were very interested to find out what happened to my body because of the hollow spine, the pain, the breathlessness, the strength. But today, you know, from March till now, I measure myself. The energy started to come back. I'm able to walk up slope 20 minutes, 30 minutes without it. I'm able to jog little by little. I'm able to pick up things from 2 kg to 5 kg to 10 kg to 15 kg. I'm able to drive around. I'm able to go back to normal routine as a normal person. And in fact, I went to an oncologist, a Christian oncologist who witnessed my healing in Singapore. I went to her and said, what do you think, you know, should I go for a PET scan, you know, to somehow scan through my bones all over again? And this is what this oncologist told me. And I find that it was really a good word because it settles in me, you know, what I should be focusing on. She said this, a real medical oncologist from the medical science. This is what she said. She said, You have walked a different path. You are walking on water. Your faith, because of faith in Jesus Christ, you have been healed. Why do you bother measuring yourself through PET scan? Because you are walking on water. How deep is the water doesn't matter anymore. Whether it's 10 meter deep, 5 meter deep, it doesn't matter anymore. Because you are on water. Amen. Glory to Jesus.